Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Greatness of the Gen Z podcast. I'm Joel Ortiz.
And I'm Heriberto Pando.
And I'm Reina Escalante.
And today we have a very special guest. We have a loan officer that specializes in the Hispanic community, and we're so glad to have you on. I mean, you're a great
Thank
leader.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm very thankful too.
Oh yeah, thank you for being on. So we would like to start off by asking you your background.
Ooh, my background. Well, the majority of my life I devoted it to community service. I started off as a college recruiter for OSU. Then I went and worked with those that were homeless. Yeah, I did in the housing, homeless women and children. It was just providing housing for them after they escaped domestic violence or other situations. I also worked with gentlemen that aged out of the foster care system. We had housing for them.
Wow.
And then we had another building for individuals that suffered from severe mental illnesses that didn't have housing. That was permanent housing for them. So I used to be I was an advocate and an intake outreach coordinator at one point for all of that.
How old were you?
I was 20 years old when I started that. Yeah, I guess I've always kind of been in a housing kind of in some way or another, a little bit here and there. I just didn't know this was what the plans were. So that's where I started off my career, and then I ended up going back to school, so I needed a part-time job, and I worked for DHS as a assistant to the social workers.
Wow.
So I worked with more children there.
Yes, you've been very involved with the community from the start.
Yeah, I'm the co-founder of Joy. I started that with the Hives Are Black.
Wow.
A long time ago. Because I do have a degree in healthcare administration, so that was where I utilized that.
Oh, gotcha.
But and then I had certifications also for medical case management. But I don't know, it just always runs back to providing stable housing for individuals or a safe environment for people, which goes back to that. It's such a basic need is housing.
The necessity, yeah, for everyone.
It really makes a difference. There's so many studies that prove it.
Wow.
So, in what you do now, what would an average day in your job look like?
Oh, goodness. Well, and the first thing is a ton of emails in the morning, checking the rates. That's the big thing is because they go up and down, see where we are, checking up on leads that Eddie sends me or any other individual, calling them, kind of seeing where they are. Also, sometimes it's just getting information or documents that they're missing. So one of the big things that if a person is interested in buying a home, make sure you have your 2 years of taxes or at least your W-2s, minimum your W-2s. 1 month of pay stubs. Those are the basic things that you'll have to provide in order for us to verify how much you make. And that kind of segues into the other thing is that make sure that if you put in your application that you make a certain amount, make sure your taxes reflect it as well. So unfortunately, we've been in situations where that hasn't been the case.
Yeah.
And I get it. If you're a business owner, you have deductions. I completely understand that. We're not. We take your deductions, but be mindful that this is.
There's some deductions that you can count, though.
Yes, there's some things that we can write back in there. Yes. So, which is really good. It helps the client.
And now the biggest thing is with that is credit. I mean, that's usually the biggest thing.
Yes.
Usually there's a lot of people that fit every criteria to get a loan, except that there's a ton. So if I'm somebody that has a 480 credit score, how would you recommend me to build it up?
Well, first I would, we would definitely pull credit and see where exactly the problems lie. And sometimes we can find some mistakes in there, and we ask the client to dispute them. And call those credit agencies. I know it takes time, but it's definitely worth it. Possibly make some letters if you need to, and just try to get those stuff out because it really can make a difference and it can help. The other thing is, let's say that again, looking at the credit, let's say that the reason why it's low is because they have a credit card for, let's say, $1,000, and they have it at like 999 or something.
Yeah.
You know, reduce that. The golden number, and then sometimes I know it's not feasible, but you know, we want to see it. We want to see it around either as low as 10% of what that card is, or up to 30 max. But really, kind of keep it below that. That will help your credit rise a lot faster.
Oh, gotcha.
So those are kind of little things you can do. Yeah.
How would you calculate your debt to income ratio?
So what we do is we take what we make versus what your expenses are.
Your liabilities?
Yeah, liabilities, and that's how we calculate that. We want to make sure depending on which program, you know, FHA programs, which is the one that's backed by the federal government. Well, not backed, but you know, a Federal Housing Administration. That one can go up to 49.99% debt to income ratio. The other ones we try to, I think they're usually around 33 or 34%. I'm always surprised by them sometimes. No, not 33, 34, 43, excuse me, misspoke. My favorites are the conventional loans.
Yeah.
Those, especially the home cost loans already. The 3% down are just, they weren't around when I was doing it, or I didn't know about them. It does beat FHA.
Yeah.
So, and then the downsides of FHA, which I liked it for the time that my loan is with an FHA, is that it puts mortgage insurance for the life of the loan. Yeah. And conventional, especially these other ones, when the value of your home versus the loan gets around, I can't remember.
Is it 20 or 25?
We'll have to reach down to, I think it was like 76, 78, something around that. Or a little bit below 80. When it gets 20. Around there, then it drops off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is 20%.
Which can save you quite a bit of money. Because I don't like giving my money away. So.
Oh, and inform them also what the insurance is for. How you can have that. Because can't you have the insurance after? So, for example, if you're behind on payments?
If you want to add a mortgage insurance back in the loan, is that what you're saying?
No, so pretty much this is what Jessica told me. Okay. That what that is for is if you're behind on payments.
Yes. What is the purpose?
Yeah,
of it? Yes, it really it does it protects the bank and you. That's kind of it's just it's making sure that that loan is going to be paid. So and there's usually a higher. I think the reason why they with like an FHA one, typically you can have a lower credit score to get an FHA loan. So the bank sees it as a higher risk. And so I think that's why they keep it on the long term of the loan versus conventional. But yes, it does. It does help. I mean, during this time, it is helpful because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But there are benefits. There's really to protect you and us, the bank.
Yeah. Yeah. Both parties involved.
Both parties.
Now that we're talking about loans, what different type of loans are there?
Well, there's
a ton.
Yeah, we have tons.
What's the most that you see at conventional FHA?
Yeah, the conventional FHA. I like I wish we had more of it, but I don't see it here very often. But maybe we will later on. The agricultural loans. Oh gosh, my mind is blank. Yeah, those because those are 100% financeable. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes, they are. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to get a farm.
So what would fit with that? I mean, what happens if you have 4 acres and then a home?
So they have to be in like rural parts of Oklahoma. So in here, I know like Lincoln County counts, Grady County, just out of really the metro.
What about Blanchard?
Blanchard, not 100% sure. I think that.
What happens if it has a home though? If it has a home and it can be used for it, and it has like 4 acres, so it can be used for it.
No, we're talking about where the home is, the location of it.
Mm-hmm. But if it's in Blanchard, I'm saying, but even if it has a home, will that exclude it? Will that like? No, it can, okay, it's just making sure.
No, just
Because I didn't know if it was
the
just
location.
for plots of land.
It's the location. No, it's for it's for homes.
Yeah.
It has to be home.
I heard
But there are like limits. Go ahead.
I heard that with those agricultural loans, like as long as it fits the description of like the local farms, like the definition of a local farm.
Let me get not necessarily the here. It has a name and I'm blanking out. So please excuse me while I go into my
No,
notes
because I had
here.
somebody actually asking about it, and that's why I'm asking you. That
Yeah,
question.
beginners farmers are eligible up to like I believe this is under 18. I could be wrong, but I believe a beginner is eligible up to 300,000.
So what happened if he just has that land just to? I mean, he doesn't have any plants or anything growing.
So with so you could use it to buy the farm, like buy the property, the house, the equipment. You could buy it to reinvest it into the property you already have. So like buy a truck, buy some animals, or you could buy it for like renting purposes. So if you already have a farm with your family, but y'all need a loan to pay y'all's rent or y'all's mortgage, so do that. That's what I seen from the website. I was looking into that a little bit ago. I thought it would be pretty cool because I want to have a little farm in the back.
The USDA loans. See, that's why. That's what I was meaning to talk about. USDA mortgage loans. Not necessarily. It's just for rural Oklahoma. It's not really like have to be a farm. It's just rural Oklahoma.
So will Blanchard count? Was Blanchard one of those counties?
Yeah, let me look.
Well, I mean,
there's a web here in the USDA website. We can look further into that. I'd have to definitely check.
We can get that instead of just a conventional. If it qualifies.
Yeah.
That's why.
I definitely have to look into that, and maybe we can edit this part out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, please. Yeah. Okay. So let's just start over again. Like we'll just say, I'm just gonna say if we can cut whatever this out.
Yeah.
There are USDA loans available that are 100% financeable. Actually, 103%.
130 or
103.
103%. That's still.
That's
because it's covered. We're gonna cover the majority of like the costs in there. So we can do a little bit loan. Well, they do like a second loan to cover that. They need to.
Gotcha.
You always have the person has to put at least in my bank at least $1,000 of their own money, or have to have at least $1,000.
Is that called like earnest money? Is that what that's? Is that what
down payment rate?
They're definitely gonna have to have earnest money because
for the title. For the seller. Just guaranteeing like, hey, if you back out before closing, all this time they wasted, I let a bunch of people show my home and inspections and the appraisal, I'm getting this money.
Exactly.
Because you're not serious.
Yes, absolutely. Those are the main ones. Obviously, there's construction loans. If you have a mobile home manufacturer loans, lot loans.
So what happens if it's a trailer? We'll have to talk about this because it's a manufactured home, and I mean, if it's in it's in Blanchard.
It has to be like a double wide, something that's a little bit more that's not gonna be like taken away by storm or something.
Run around the
You just have to. They're very particular.
Yeah. So if it's a mobile home, would that not count for the agricultural?
A mobile home?
It's a manufactured home. Yeah.
I definitely we're gonna have to edit this out again because I'm gonna have to find out for that.
Because I'm sure you.
You could probably just have them try to finance the land and not even include the mobile home. Like the mobile home is like a garage, basically.
Yeah, we could do that. We can do a land loan.
Here, look. I just want to show it to her.
Okay, sure. Let me see if I can find that matrix. Oh, con razón.
This one right here. It's a mobile.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I think it would. Yeah, I mean, it has brick around there. No, that's
pretty rural looking too.
Yeah.
It has 4 acres. You might be able to do that,
but I'm not a huge.
Yeah, but you.
Do you mind if we cut this right here really quickly and allow me?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get regular construction ones, if you don't mind.
Sure. What's great about the construction to come, especially right now, is the fact that we're in a rising interest rate market. And instead of locking like an extended lock and paying money to extend your lock that far, what we end up doing is we close the loan, the construction loan, and the permanent financing at the same time. And the loan actually morphs into a permanent financing after construction's done. We do all the draws to the builder, and also there's just interest payments like a regular construction loan in the meantime. And then once the house is complete, then you make your regular payments. But luckily, you get to lock in today's interest rate as opposed to your interest rates could go in, say, 6 months, 8 months, or a year, however long it takes to come. So you can literally lock yourself into a better interest rate, especially in these times where, the Fed just raised the interest rate.
Yeah, they've gone up.
Just yesterday. So.
Right. Well, thank you, Scott. Thank
Yeah,
you
thank
so
you so much,
much.
Scott.
That's so much information. Do you want to just do this with Scott? And me next to him? No, he's so full of knowledge.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he is an amazing person, inside and out. And then he fights for your clients, or our clients, and he is out there.
Yeah, he'll make stuff happen.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, to make our mutual clients' loan happen, I mean, he called everyone he could possibly call to make sure that it was done. So I really appreciate you, Scott.
Yeah, we really appreciate
and that's the kind of loan officers that you want on your team, and for your client's sake, because we understand the importance of closing on time and just making it happen. People are excited to be in their homes.
Yeah.
We just got a case right now. Should be a case, huh? Where we're trying to make sure that she gets in before Christmas, because during this time of the year, a lot of title companies and other people are taking vacations, and so it's kind of, we're trying to make sure that she got into the last slot we could get her into, so that she can hope.
We're always trying to keep our clients top of mind to other people, the other vendors.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
This is what they matter to us. They want to be in their home for Christmas.
Yeah, they're not just a number.
We don't see people as numbers. We definitely have a heart, and that's I haven't run across anybody who really doesn't. So thankfully, but definitely keep that in mind. But people are looking for a loan officer.
And if we can't help you, at least we're not going to just say no. We'll also give you a roadmap how to achieve your goals.
Absolutely.
Really important.
Yes, we do. We work together. We look at each credit, a report individually. We don't just say, "Hey, no, your credit's bad. Bye." No, of course not. Okay, let's look at all this. Okay, here are some things you can do. Let's try to dispute this.
Yeah, that's awesome. We actually had someone that we did that to.
There are often errors on your credit.
Yeah, there are some errors sometimes. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Yes. So like that situation.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, Scott?
Just quite honestly, just that Reina is you're not going to find anybody that cares more about a client and who really puts her whole heart and soul into what she does. And you can't ask for anything better than that. And that's not your normal banking experience.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you, Scott.
You're truly a woman of the community.
I've devoted almost my whole life to that.
Passion,
I really, since the age of 20.
Even before then.
Before then. Yeah, really, yeah. Before then. Yeah, I was dealing with high schoolers then. Well, I wanted them to get an education. I was telling them where I started my professional career as a college recruiter for OSU.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, he's an OSU fan.
We all know.
Go ahead.
I said we all know OSU is the best school.
Well, we might divide. We're in Norman right now.
No, not really. Gotta roll up the crowd somehow.
We're all Oklahomans.
Yeah. Well, in Louis trust, everybody roots for the Thunder.
Yeah.
That's good.
Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
You too, Scott.
Thank you so
too,
much, Scott. You're amazing. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, Scott's amazing.
Yeah,
And he's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, he is. You're gonna have so much fun with him. He will tell you these stories that you're just like, what? That did not happen. He's like, yep, it happened. But he really, and he's a person that cares a lot too.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, that you guys really care about the clients that I send over.
We do. We try our hardest. I mean, unless they're just flat out just. I mean, but it has to be a mutual thing. We can't force people to do something. We can say, look, we really need this, or else this won't happen. And then we put the ball in their court, so to say. And but yeah, thankfully we've had good experiences.
Quality.
Yes.
So we were talking about loans a little bit earlier. Do you have a preference on fixed versus variable loans?
I prefer fixed because I like to know what I'm gonna be paying. But for some people that it's not going to be their forever home, and definitely when the rates were way lower, that was a great opportunity for them. Yeah, but right, the rates are kind of going up now, so it's up to them to decide that. I can't say.
Yeah.
I personally, I just prefer.
Yeah, me too.
I want to know what I'm gonna pay each month and kind of budget accordingly. So.
Yeah. 2008.
So
yeah.
That brings me to my second question. Where do you see interest rates in like a year?
Oh.
If you were to make that guess.
This is a very I don't see them going down. We were seeing them tick up a little bit right now. We know that the student loan deferment, or the student loan situation that we're going to start owing student loans again at the end of January. I don't foresee that helping the market. So one of the reasons why a lot of people were able to afford homes is because they didn't have that big payment each month of student loans. So we're talking about, there are people that are paying $500 a month in student loans. Imagine you're not paying that anymore. It frees up that money each month. And all of a sudden, we have some money in the savings account. We didn't.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're like, okay, you know what? I think we could buy a home. Well, that's ending. Soon at the end of January. And
do you think they'll extend that?
I mean, it's December, and I've been getting the alerts. So I don't.
Payments begin January.
I'm not gonna get political here, but well, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, it don't seem like COVID's done much. The Omicron, it don't seem like it's affected as bad as it was. So I don't see them pushing them any longer.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot of money. And so that's kind of, in a sense, not having to pay that was a little bit of a stimulus for the economy.
Yeah.
And so that was a favorable thing. But now that's coming to an end.
This is a little off topic. Have you ever had anybody try to get money from you for like a loan to throw into like the stock market or anything?
Well, I only deal with home mortgages. So maybe my colleagues have, but I have not.
Because they're pretty much margin, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you go through the brokerage, it's like that. But I know that if you get a regular loan, you won't get margin called.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was a little off topic.
Okay.
Well, so I mean, we like to tap into mind, lifestyle, and business. Is there a routine? I know that you really don't have a set routine. You might have an event one day, another day, you have to deal with a different client.
Yeah.
Do you have any structure? Like when you wake up, what do you do? Or do you have, what's your routine?
My routine, well, I have a child.
Yeah.
So my routine is getting up very early. I like to have me time. Definitely encourage it. If you're able to, get up a little bit earlier and just have those 20 minutes to yourself. To think, to breathe, to read a news article, to just
wake up.
And I love listening to the Steve Harveys in the morning, or just motivational, anything. Wow, even when I'm brushing my teeth, I'll just have the phone right there, just letting it go, like positive motivation. Whomever, and then that just kind of sets the day. And then I go and I wake up my kiddo and, hey, wake up. You gotta get dressed and ready to go. Thankfully, she's old enough. Like, a lot of parents don't have that blessing, but that's how we go. And then I go make her breakfast and get her lunch ready. But that's the main thing, is just really having a little bit of time, just a little time to yourself. It really does make a difference, because who's gonna love you more than you? And that really sets the tone of how we're going to expect others to treat us and love us, and we gotta love you. So
Yeah, that's a great way to start off the day.
For sure. What struggles do you kind of face with your routine in place?
it's the balance of work, life, and home. Because as I mentioned, I do go to a lot of events. I'm expected to really be there, and of course, also for my business. Clients come, and then they finish the house, and then I move on. And so, juggling the important time, because family does have to come first. And so making sure that I have that time with my child or my loved ones. Even my sister can get kind of like, you're not spending enough time with me. Just that, because I think that I'm very blessed that I have people that want to spend time with me. So that's the blessing of it. But just, spending those like 20 minutes, and I'll just say, you know what, and establishing boundaries. So another thing I've had to learn is saying, you know what, I can't today, but what do you think? I'm going to block off 30 minutes tomorrow so we can have that cup of coffee together. And so they know that I care enough about them to take that time, but I really have to be very intentional about blocking the time to do so. Because if we say, yeah, we'll have coffee someday, and it's not going to happen. It has to be. But, that's just the way, having a calendar.
Budget, it sounds like a budget.
It really is. And, I don't think we learn that too much in school, but it's very important.
Yeah, completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agree.
So you have to really learn a crash course when you get into the field.
And the great thing about is when you say yes to something, you're saying no to everything else. So you have to
The
remember that.
opportunity cost.
Yeah, you have to remember that. Like, is this, should I say yes to this? Because I'm gonna say everything. I'm gonna say no to everything else.
Yeah,
that comes along with this.
Right, it's very true.
Yeah.
Like we're kind of going in a little dilemma right now. We have a very important event, but we have scheduled a lunch. But that's the other thing. That's the beauty of it, is that you can call and delegate, talk to the person. And
and we're both gonna go to the event.
But he's an understanding individual. You do want to make sure that you communicate and work with individuals that are very like mine. So I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, because I was like, is it the same one?
Yeah, I did. Well, I thought you were interested in it on Facebook. I was like, okay, well, maybe we should talk about that. I was like, how are we gonna have our lunch? No. But it's a great cause too, and it's a great event. NARA, National Association of Hispanic Realtors.
Yeah.
Those that didn't know the acronym.
So you mentioned. You need to take that? All right.
I don't recognize them well.
So you mentioned loving yourself earlier. I kind of want to step out from yourself. That's internal. I want to chime into your external. So what does your support system look like as far as your friends and your family? How do they?
I'm very blessed. I have I'm very loving. I have a child. I think it's more like I love her more. Children don't really express themselves too much. My support system really is my mother and my sister. In fact, if you allow me to elaborate, this kind of goes back to my story, really. I'm originally from El Salvador. And I came here because there was a horrible civil war going on in my country. Then my mom, being a nurse, she was actually victimized for being a nurse, because during the war times, what do people need? They need medics, they need people in that, and they'll kidnap you. So So anyway, we fled that situation. Came
Wow.
here. My mom came and being a high-level nurse to working at a hotel, well, I think a motel, cleaning it so that we could have a place to stay. That's how we arrived here. We really didn't have a whole lot.
Wow.
Then from there, so housing was not very, it was housing was enough, but it wasn't, ours. From there, my mother, who was a nurse, this is it's a touching story, so if you could block it out, you can take it out if you want. But from there, she went to live with this lady and her husband. They had kids. My mom was like a live-in nanny / maid, / everything. Well, they would give her just a measly amount of money. And my mom was like, I can't, I have kids. I gotta support them somehow. Well, they got to the point where they were like, no, you cannot leave us. If you leave us, we will call immigration on you.
Wow.
And they held us captive basically for, I don't remember how long. I was a little bitty. I was like 3 years old at the time. From there, so finally the owner of the hotel ended up getting, my mom got a hold of them somehow. And they came up to them, they were like, either you let this lady go with her kids, or I'm going to personally call the police for like basically modern day slavery. And they finally let us go like that. Isn't that crazy? So from there we went to, this has been a journey, I'm telling you. So this is why my heart is in this so much, because I know the struggle as a child and seeing my mother who worked so hard, to provide a home for us. From there we went, and my mother was a caregiver for an elderly lady who was in a wheelchair. And that lady made sure that I learned English by putting Sesame Street on. And that's how, and we had a little bit more of a safer environment.
That's awesome.
From there on, we went to a little trailer. We were so excited. It's finally our own place, not living with somebody else. But then this horrible winter of like the early 90s came.
Wow.
Snow was like super high, and then the trailer ended up like bubbling, and it became unsafe. So then again, we were like, okay, we gotta find a house. And my mom found this old house with called the plywood, boarded up windows, broken windows, like in a rough area of town. But it was home. And it was, I remember sometime near Christmas or after Christmas, because when I remember walking into that house, I remember seeing pieces of a Christmas tree still there. Mm-hmm. And my mother was so thankful and happy that we had a place finally of our own. We went to the kitchen, and there was this 3-legged coffee table full of paint. And we sat down in paint buckets, and we gave thanks to God that we had a home, and we ate, and it was the most meaningful experience of my life. So I'm incredibly thankful for my mom and my family, because housing was always very important to her, and she did the best she could, and it continues to be. And I hope that I am able to provide that for someone else, or be a part of that, that dream, and help make it possible for another family who's also, dealing with the Hispanic community. We have a lot of immigrants whose journeys have been probably a lot more simple than ours, worse than ours. And so when I see each family, I see my mom, I see my aunts, I see somebody. And so that's why I really do care about them, and I work really hard in order to make their dreams come true. So.
Shout out to your mom. She ready.
Oh my goodness, my mom. You met my mom. My mom is super, super sweet, but she's been through it all by herself.
Wow.
And she'll always say it was God. Of course it was God, but yeah, that's.
Well, I never heard your story.
I know. I just haven't shared it with. I was like, should I share it? Should I not?
No, that's great.
That's great.
But that's my background. Very humble, very, very humble beginnings.
So is that how you got your love for the community?
Yes, because there were so many people that helped us along the way. I always felt that I don't know, it's internal gratitude. Like that gentleman that I was telling you that was a part owner of that hotel. Well, the reason we left there is because they ended up selling it and things like that. He was one of the first bilingual politicians, or Latino politicians here in Oklahoma. And he has always been helpful to us. He definitely advocated. When my mom would get a speeding ticket, like he would be up there with her with the judge. I mean, he's always just been there. And he had a lot of influence in me because I saw how he helped my mom and other people, and I was like, I want to help other people too. I'm so thankful because I know that without certain people in my life, I wouldn't be here. Just, I don't know about you, but that teacher that you had, that influential teacher you had, and there's people that are just placed in your life.
For a reason.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Perfect time, perfect place.
Yeah.
But it takes us to be able to recognize it, and then also let's leave this world better. Times are getting bad.
I love that mindset.
And I just really want to make it better. Just at least one person.
So I guess that's a good transition into your goals. Of course, that'll probably be a goal. But what other goals would you have? You have?
Well, my goals are. My goal has always been. Oh goodness, it's kind of embarrassing. So personal. Oh gosh, financial independence has been very big for me. Coming from a very traditional background, I left my mother's home to my husband's home. And so, I really wasn't, yes, I did make my own money, but I really was never on my own per se. And I don't know whether people are going with that, but now that cycle has ended, it's just being financially independent and seeing how far I can go.
That's great. That's great.
It was really personal, guys.
It's great though. A lot of people just kind of wander in the dark. I made a post on Instagram last night, kind of mentioning that. A lot of people kind of wander in the dark. They feel like they know what they want, but they're not specific. So how are you gonna? If you're wandering in the dark, you don't know what you're looking for. You might not ever find it.
That's very true.
So setting goals is important.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill, that was one of his steps on how to think and grow rich. Was set specific goals.
That's true.
He broke it down to don't say I want to be a millionaire. Say exactly the exact amount with sense.
Oh wow.
With sense.
So one of the things I have a dream board.
Wow.
I'm very into manifesting and all that stuff. Yeah. And it has happened. So
that's cool.
Props to that. But I have in my dream board I have this check. So it's gonna happen. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen. And it has $100,000. I don't know. It's my goal in life. Like I want to make 6 figures.
That is great.
It's literally a picture of a check, and I made sure I wrote Reina Escalante, and I put $100,000 on there, and it's been on my dream board along with being the best mother I can be. It even has scripture on there. Later on in life, when I'm ready to move on with, say, I want a relationship. That's it's all there. It's very detailed. Even the house that I want to live in.
Great. When did you start working on your dream board?
3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago.
What inspired you to make it?
I was in a point in my life where I just wasn't happy. I didn't feel fulfilled. And I knew that there was better out there. And I started with The Secret. That's really the book and the movie. And I was like, you know what? Let me try this out. What can I lose at this point? Okay. And so that's how I got involved with that. And it was, those certain books, visualization, meditating, really praying, being specific, and not being so afraid to ask for what you want. So when I got this job, I was very specific, very intentional about I want to make this amount. I won't take any less. That actually, valuing myself enough to be
that's bold.
Yeah, and I'm a Latina woman. There are some women that are this way, but the way I was raised was to be more humble, more not to be as bold and like that. And so it's just finding that strength within you, kind of changing. We have to sometimes change certain things that that's not bad. I mean, you're like that. That's fine. but I knew that I wanted to reach the next level.
Trying
And
to
so,
shift your paradigm.
yes, and so I just heard about something like that, and it was okay. Don't like shoot the messenger here, but it was like go after jobs as if you were a man. Ask for that amount, certain amount. Ask for that raise. Ask for be very direct. Because I mean, you guys tell me, but I feel like men are very much more headed than us women. Some of us women, can't generalize that. That was my situation. So it was a really big deal, and it just worked out. And I'm so thankful to Scott. He saw something and gave me the opportunity, and here I am.
Shining bright.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just so it really makes a difference. Just please, if you have a dream in your heart, it's there for a reason. Believe it. Start acting like it actually is in the present, like right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, things will move in ways that you will just feel like, I don't know how, but it's happening and it's here. And then gratitude, be thankful about it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, more things will come.
That's great. I've recently made a dream board myself. A lot of the YouTubers I watch and podcasts I'm into,
I gotta make one.
They mention that quite often.
You'd be surprised how many people have them.
Yeah, it's crazy that you said it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And not only do I have my personal bedroom, but I would keep a version of a dream board and my desktop. I had it as my background.
That's cool.
And so every time I'd open that computer, I was writing my face.
Yeah, I want like a board like that by my bed. So when I wake up, I'm like looking at it, and it ain't like I could not see the big old board right there on my face. So
I just feel it and
soak it in.
Yes, like one of the dreams that I had was and I think it kind of stems back to the whole house. Like I lived in a very small house growing up, and I always dreamed of having a bigger house.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, things. I mean, did I ever tell you about the story about how I even?
No.
Well, the house was way over the one that I ended up getting. We were very intentional. We wanted a house of a certain size, and it had to have a certain amount of land. My ex-husband had trailers, so it couldn't just be any house. And like our clients, the same situation. Well, no, we couldn't find any houses with land within our tiny budget that we had. And I just like, no, it's going to happen. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. And we ended up having to take a break from looking for a house because we just weren't finding it. But I had the agent's card next to my bed. So every day I would see her card there. Because I don't know why I just left it there. I do clean it, but I just had that particular card right there. And I was like, I'm going to call her after like 3 months. And she called me, she's like, oh, and I called her, and she was like, oh my goodness, Reina. She's like, I've been thinking about you. I'm so glad you called. I lost your number because I changed phones. I haven't been able to get a hold of you.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
Oh
and then before then, so before all that, she kept showing us houses that really weren't meeting their criteria. And so I was like, and then she said, and I guess she thought maybe I was like mad at her or something, but I really just wanted a break. She said, okay, she's like, I'm gonna listen to you this time. Okay, we're gonna find a house like this. I said, okay. And then she's like, well, there's this house. But the lady's really mean. So good luck with that. And I had to actually, every time I would go into like realtor.com and I would put my criteria, that house would pop up. But it was like $45,000 more up. I think 40 or 45 or 50. I can't remember, but it was like a lot more than my budget. And I'd be like, dang it, I can't afford that house, but I like it. And so that was the house she sent me. And I was like, I can't afford that house. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, they just dropped the price. I told her. Well, I was like, okay, I'm going to go. So I went over there. I looked at it and was like, oh gosh, this is it, the house. And what happened was that the lady was getting a divorce. And she was just like, screw him. I'm going to lower the price because I don't want him to have any money anyway. So, and so they were selling it super cheap.
Perfect time.
Perfect time. And the day we made the offer was the tornadoes were going around. It was insane.
Wow.
We kind of like right in there.
Had faith in that certain house.
And I mean, I'm so thankful. You know, you still haven't come over, but well, you saw it on the outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely where I want to be the rest of my life.
You know what I have? I don't have that, but Ron Harris gave this to me. This investor. He's a very influential guy.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that he has is he's very conscious of time.
Mm.
So it's like it has like blocks. It's like it has a ton of blocks, and it's like years, like 20 years, 40, 60, and you draw in every week. So you see how much time you have left.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
That would make me anxious.
But I'm like, I have to go today because look how much time I have left.
So it's always top of mind.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I mean, this many weeks till 60.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's innovative.
Yeah, he gave that to me. I was like, I mean, I have that, and I looked at that every day.
I've been wanting to get a watch for that same reason. So like, if I'm doing something, I look like what's the time, and I look, and it just kind of reminds me.
Yeah, unconsciously and consciously both. So that's what I have. I don't have a dream watch. I gotta get one, but that's what I have. Just that I look at every day, and I'm like,
yeah, you will know whatever feels good to you. You know, if dream boards, they seem to work with us.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
we're more like I don't know, I'm a visual person, so that's why it works for me. I don't know about you.
I kind of do words like I just wrote it out and just try to be as descriptive as possible.
Yeah, that's really big. It's being descriptive.
I haven't even completed it yet. Like I wrote out all these different sections of my life. So I'm like family, like housing, food, literally fitness, mental. It is descriptive as deep as I could go. That's how deep I went. I'm still working on completing it. It's just I'll be doing it so long. I'm like, man, I need to take a break.
but that's gonna be your whole life, though.
Yeah.
You know,
One of the things that a friend of mine shared is she's like, you need to feel it, Reina. She's like, it's not just the pictures. You have to really feel it, like connect the emotion with what you're seeing and all that. Anna.
yeah.
Connect the physical with the non-physical world.
Yeah. Just really connect with it. If we come to a religious point of a creator, whoever people associate that with, we're not here to just suffer. We're here to enjoy life and admire the beauty and create beauty as well. And so yeah, I just feel.
I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Sometimes we forget. I'm like, all right, I got to do this, and this. Fight through the pain. Pain is just it's a emotion, feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, no pain, no pain.
Sometimes it is good to sit back and like enjoy it.
So I mean, little things in life would just occur. Let's say you get all those green lights. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Enjoy the little tiny things. I'm telling you, it will change the way.
Yeah, it does. I always say what I'm gracious for.
Yes.
Every little thing, like my eyes. Like imagine, if I couldn't see, or I mean my hands or my legs, I couldn't walk. All
enjoy the precious taste of what food tastes like. Some food's so good.
Teriyaki chicken. Oh my god, that's what I always say when I drive, like my first morning drive. I'm gracious for, and like the little things. Interesting.
It really does help.
Yeah.
It's sometimes we forget. I'm not gonna say I don't. Cause there's like this. When I was running late, I was like, oh.
The negative things.
I was so mad because I got stuck on MacArthur. But so I ended up putting positive affirmations. I was like, okay, all right. I gotta get all this.
Yeah,
was that today?
Yeah, literally on the drive here.
Oh no!
I was like, okay, I'm going to put some positive affirmations that everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna make it.
We still no way about it. No, me that's like. We're just in there chatting it up. We're getting ready for you. So
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. It came from a housing situation now too. Well, it really does.
It touches all the.
Well, when our clients are looking for a home, it starts with a dream. It's not like.
And even a home buying, it's not logical. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
It's very emotional. When you go to the investors, now that's the logic side. But with home buyers for their home, it's very emotional. The whole thing is emotional. The inspections is emotional. The appraisal, every little step. If they can't find a home, that's emotional. Like, I can't find my
The
home.
largest purchase of their life for
Yeah.
most.
So it's very emotional, the whole process.
That's why a lot of people are like, this house doesn't feel right for me.
Yeah.
And you'll feel it when it's the right home.
Yeah.
You really will.
Or even when they have it under contract, the emotion doesn't stop there. That's when they.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go through everything. I mean, and the insurance and all that. They feel overwhelmed.
Mhm.
That whole thing, very emotional.
And we try to, on our end, we try to do a lot of things behind the scenes so that the client doesn't get overwhelmed with all that. But, a lot of it, unfortunately, is, there are things that clients can do sometimes to help that. For example, try not to put cash deposits at least 2 months before, or too many of them that you don't know, that you can't explain. That's a big one, or else we're not able to count those sometimes. And I get that. Or having multiple people use your account. I mean, just kind of makes it a little bit harder sometimes. Not saying they won't. There's not a way to go around it, but
It's a little harder.
yeah, just be very mindful about what you spend your money on. Like, let's say that I don't know, the client wants to buy a house, but I don't know, they're like, they're giving a ton of money to friends and family. We really want to be careful about that. Just be very mindful about what you're going to do right before you want to buy a house. Just so the finances look good.
Yeah.
It's not really us, it's not me.
It's the underwriter.
It's the underwriter that makes the yes or no. And we want to put it as beautifully packaged as humanly possible.
I didn't think about that at all. The deposits.
All that stuff.
Yeah, it's not, and it's not us. It's just really banks don't like too many of those cash that you just don't know how to explain it. But but however, if somebody gave you that money, they can write you a gift letter, and certain loan programs work with that, and it's not a big deal. So,
is there a specific way y'all deal with stocks? Because I know stocks move in value.
They do request statements from them, and we can work with whatever it is that you can take out is what we can.
Got you.
We can count.
So like the market value, basically. Interesting. Also, earlier you mentioned El Salvador, so you're from El Salvador.
I am from El Salvador.
What do you think about them making BTC Bitcoin legal?
Oh my goodness.
Legal what?
Legal tender.
Yes, our president. I say our president. The president. But then it fell right afterwards because think about it.
Yeah.
So one of the things about El Salvador that's kind of unique to Latin American countries is that they use the dollar.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are kind of like changing their bitcoins to dollars, and so that kind of affected that. That's how people became very, very wealthy with dollars.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I always heard that people buy the rumor and sell the news. So I was kind of like the news part, like, oh, now it's legal tender. Let's sell our Bitcoin.
That's what happened. And then it went, woo.
So, do you what do you think about that though? Like,
I'm not. I don't have any cryptocurrency under my belt yet, so I don't know what. I'm just kind of on the outside looking in at this point. I definitely do think that it's going to be the future.
It's crazy just seeing it. Like,
How fast it's progressing.
Yeah. People used to just at one point it was just like something that existed that nobody knew about it, and now countries are adopting it. Companies are using it. I don't know.
Well, my understanding was, this is like a couple years ago, but it was like kind of the dark web kind of used only, not in like here. So, no, who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? If you feel drawn to that, it's good to diversify. So I'll
Yeah.
probably be doing that later on.
I seen a lot of the residents in El Salvador, like they were unhappy with it. There was a whole bunch of riots and
Oh, really?
yeah.
Well, I haven't heard that from my family members.
Wow.
I haven't heard that from them, but
Different areas.
Yeah. Just like protests and stuff. They're just unhappy with that happening. And then I know their wallet, I want to say Shibu or something like that. They had this mobile wallet. The day Bitcoin was made legal tender, like the wallet went like out because there are so many users on it, they couldn't support
Yeah,
it.
against sustain.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'll definitely ask them about it. I really hadn't thought too much of it, to be honest with you. But I'll ask them, I'll ask my aunts or somebody.
So they're still out there.
Yeah, I have lots of aunts.
That's a cool
I have a
conversation.
big family. I don't know my grandparents. I'd be surprised they have Bitcoin. I'm gonna go really back, like way back in.
Yeah. I heard that they gave every resident like $30 of Bitcoin, but I'm not sure. I don't live out there. Know anybody out there?
Like I said, I'll ask them. I imagine my cousins probably do have the Bitcoin because they're younger, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows that? I could text them or something.
How was it? Like, do you remember anything from the Civil War?
I don't. I was very little. Like,
Yeah.
I turned 3 when I came to America. Like on my way to America.
So you were like, were you 3?
I was 2 when I was still there, and then I turned 3 on the way. It was a long journey. It was nothing.
Wow.
I think something to do with. My mom has been very vague about our journey here. I know some train.
Oh, you guys took the train from Mexico to the ones that
Yeah, I don't really know. I think so much of completely out of train. Again, I was very, very little when I came here. But I've read about it, and it was a very horrible, horrible war. I mean, brutal. I mean, think about the Civil War here in America. And over there, it's a tiny country, and
And what was the Civil War about? What was the disagreement? Political?
it's political mainly.
And who were the sides? The 2 sides?
Of course you're gonna ask me about that. I have not done too much. I know a little bit about it, but I try not to go too deep into that.
I'll just focus on the flex. I was born in the Bitcoin capital.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'll be going around telling everybody that, like, hey, guess where I was born?
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about real estate there. Just there's all good opportunities, and I'm sure that now with Bitcoin being involved, it's definitely going to be more.
Yeah, I've looked into it. Like, just what if I wanted to move there, get paid a little Bitcoin or something, or invest into some property, or just move out there and experience it. But that was one of the main things that really the Bitcoin, that topic is what introduced me to it. But yeah, I looked into it. It was real beautiful. I love it.
It is very beautiful. My family does have a house in a very touristic area. It's called Paneca. It's in the mountains. Which, let me tell you, it's so hot in El Salvador. Being in the mountains is a blessing because it's so much cooler. Like, oh, I thought I was gonna die. I really did. We came there. I forgot what month we went. When we got there, I think we were in sweaters. It must have been sometime in January or something. We land over there, and it was humid. I mean, imagine a sauna. Literally, the country was a sauna. We couldn't breathe. We're like, oh my gosh.
Better sit down.
And my hair is curly. Well, it gets even curlier there, like because the humidity was just. And my sister loves it. She's like, you need to go more natural. Like, that doesn't happen here. It only happens there.
What was the name of that spot again?
Apaneca. And there's where we live is like I said, so beautiful. Like, you step out and then you see the coffee fields.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Two little houses there.
So would you all right, there's this spot. Would you have any spot like you would recommend if somebody was to visit the country?
Um, there are some like natural pools. Don't ask me the names because I was just taken. My family just took me there. It was just, and obviously it's the ocean. There's nothing better than a fish fry straight from like right next to the ocean. Actually, when we were there, there was this little boy and he had been fishing, and I mean, we just bought the fish from him, and it's all dollars. So we just here's some dollars, and then we just had like a lady that had a little place. You fry these fishes for us, and we paid her. I cannot describe how amazing fresh fish from the ocean.
Wow.
This is the most. Oh, I'm hungry now.
What kind of language do they? Is it majority Spanish?
Spanish.
I'm learning a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely Spanish. But I have a American brother-in-law, and he knew a few words. And when he came back, he knew much more Spanish because it's a
he was in the environment.
Yeah.
You have to practice over there.
Yeah. Like my Duolingo app.
Google Translator to say, what you say?
People are really funny with Americans. My brother-in-law is like 6'3", and people from my country are very tiny, like super tiny. So they would just be like, everybody, wherever he went, he was just like a celebrity. And then we would tell him, you stay over there. We were trying to like haggle a price because they give you the
American price.
And literally one lady straight up told me, because I went with my grandpa, and then I was like, how much is this? And then she's like, this. And then my grandpa came, she's like, hey, no, yo soy de aquí. And they started like chit-chatting, pues es que es usted. Oh, it's just you. Oh, okay, well, you know how business is and this and that. And they straight up tell me to my face, it's
American price.
You get this, and then your grandpa gets a different price.
Is it because you go to the tourist place?
It was a port that I remember going to, where they would sell like the fresh fish, and there was like an actual fish market, and then they did have some like jewelry and all these other things.
Like a flea market, like the pull-out.
But like off of the beach,
the
port. It was wild. Well, whenever I want to go, I just saw some pretty cheap flights down there, and there, you can stay at the house. So it's furnished. So
yeah, it's definitely on my list. I want to go to El Salvador. I just want to experience it.
It's very beautiful.
How is it over there right now?
Well, they were very strict about the lockdowns. Like really, really strict. Like people, my understanding was like only certain days you could go, only certain family people, members. Like my grandparents couldn't go certain days, and then other days they could. So I don't know. And a lot of people, I guess they had it. I don't know. A lot of our, some of our relatives did pass away from COVID. There, we had quite a few, and then people that knew other people. Then my mom was like, so and so passed away, and I was like, I don't. And then they get mad because you don't know who so and so was. Like, no, Mom. So, but a lot of it did affect. I don't know if it just hit them stronger. I don't know. I don't know what the situation was or why, but or the variant maybe was just strong on their immune system. I don't know, but just be careful. Take your gel and mask up and what you need to do.
Is there a lot of crime over there now? Like Mexico?
There is. That was the downside. I love El Salvador. It was a great place to be. But I'm telling you, I had so much more freedom in Mexico than I did in El Salvador. It was literally, I could not be without one of my relatives. I had to always have a relative. Especially when, I don't know, they can tell when you're not from there. Even if I do the accent, I guess I just mess up somewhere. They can tell with your accent that you're not.
Yeah.
And then one of the rules is like, don't speak English when you're out there. Just be kind of careful about that. One of my relatives was armed at all times. And then at night, they would close the gate on us. We weren't allowed to leave. past certain time
Mm.
because it is more dangerous.
Yeah.
But where I was a little bit more dangerous. Where we have our family home isn't that bad, thankfully.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah.
Mm.
Man, y'all might see me out there one day.
Well, they're very. Well, there is a certain gang that's very affiliated with El Salvador. Yeah. hmm And so the government has kind of stepped up on that, and they're really attacking them.
Oh,
That's
are they kind of fighting against each other?
They are. They've been fighting against each other for a while. In fact, let's say that this is kind of interesting. And you can cut this out because it's very crazy. But let's say that somebody from here gets deported over there, and it's like all kind of like gang and yeah. I mean, you'll just disappear when you get over there.
Really?
Oh. The government, the cops, because they're tired of them being
They
sent.
call them terrorists.
Yeah.
They call them terrorists. I didn't know that. Yeah.
And so it's just a.
So did you see any of that? Because I know when I was in Mexico, I saw people in trucks. Because we lived in the country, so I saw people with trucks and AK-47.
I mean, granted, no, there were when I was there, and this is not the case anymore. As far as I know, I don't know if I could be wrong. Last time I spoke to them, in a minute. But when I was there personally, there was military on almost every corner with an AK. But granted, this was like, what was it 2010 or 12? I can't remember. When was
Oh, that was bad at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I thought it was cool because I was like, I think I asked like take a picture of somebody. I don't know.
Do they smile?
I don't know. They're always wearing like the bandanas, everything right here, and they're covered up like head to toe with their AKs.
They're armored up.
Yeah, they're definitely armored up. But that's that.
Yeah. Wow.
Pretty cool though. I heard that they're really focusing on harvesting energy from the nearby volcano out there. So.
Well, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
It's definitely. You should, if you go there, go to this place called I think it's called Las Joyas, and it's like this tropical little mini paradise. They even have souvenir little sculptures of what they had, like the little, I don't know, these little stone carving. I don't know, the little things you can take.
I'm not a traveler, but yeah, that's definitely on my list to go out there.
It's an interesting story, history there.
Where's your go-to place if you could pick only one place?
In the world? Oh, gosh.
The first one that you're like, if you can only pick one, what would it be?
I don't know why, but for some reason my head went Costa Rica. I want to go to Costa Rica. I think that I love nature.
Yeah.
Being the water, all of that.
Or Colombia.
Colombia, only if I want to get some work done. No, I don't know. There might be an opportunity later on to go to South America. To a certain part of the world.
I want to go to Mexico City.
Mexico City?
Yeah. To see the temple. I'm from Chihuahua.
Okay.
So we only go like right by the border. Go that's where. Like we don't go to the tourist place.
No. Go to San Miguel. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah. But I want to see the temples.
Yeah. Go for it. I mean, you just have to be careful. Just gotta be a little bit more careful, especially there. Like you see there, you do want to be more careful.
Yeah. It's kind of bad there, yeah.
A little bit.
It's the major city though.
Yeah.
Because we go to the little towns.
Where
but they're kind of protected by the cartel.
They are. I don't know. I guess people are just frightened. I mean, before I went to Mexico, everybody with my family was very upset with me because they hear the rumors. So, and everything that's broadcast on TV is always this horrible news about Mexico, like the worst of the worst. So I was kind of worried too. When I got there, Wasn't anything like that.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah,
It's not. It's
I used to be scared too going there. It's because the cartels like they're not out really to get you.
no, unless you're involved
Yeah.
in some stuff, they're not.
They're really
messing
not
with you.
out there to get you. If they are there, they're just like they make sure they know who comes in and comes out the little
They
town.
do.
They really do.
I'm shocked at how many.
My uncles
Everybody
came there
knows.
to live with my aunt, and they moved from like the big city, the Delicias, to like
Uh-huh.
a small town where my aunt lives. And they pulled up on them. They were like, "Hey, like, what are you doing here?" Because they have like teenagers, like 15-year-olds on motorcycles, and then everybody knows they're like, "Oh, like he's just doing his little run, making sure like who's there and all that."
It's a whole different vibe.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they just get a certain amount of money and
Yeah,
to patrol like this.
yeah, they just get paid to patrol. That's their part-time job.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But overall, I think Mexico.
it's really good because they're not really out there fighting the street, and the cartel's not out there to kill you.
I don't know. But I was very fortunate in that aspect.
Where did you go?
I was all over Mexico. Well, originally I went to Guanajuato. I was there for a while. Beautiful. I visited Querétaro. I went there for medical reasons. Obviously, here it's kind of a pain to get stuff. So when your provider might send a referral and like you're still waiting to hear that, or you've exhausted the resources. And I had exhausted my resources at that time, and I was like, I want to go to Mexico where you literally just call up and say, I need an appointment for this and this, and they get you in. There's none of this waiting for the doctor to send in some note to get you in.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean literally, schedule it. And so I went there. Then my child had a certain health illness, and so it was very serious. And here again, we had exhausted resources for that. They had no answers. So I was able to get her in immediately, but I had to go to Monterrey. Monterrey is north of Mexico. Beautiful. It's like the California of Mexico because it's very expensive and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we literally crossed the border on foot for that one. I got tired of waiting on the bus. It was around before Christmas, so as you imagine how awful.
Everybody's going to their families.
Everybody was going, oh my goodness, on the way there. But I had somebody meet me right across the border, so it wasn't a big deal.
Gosh.
Yeah, so I was like, the bus was just there, and I was like, it's only, 5 or 6 blocks from the border. I was like, come on, Evan, let's go. Grabbed our luggage and we crossed. But yeah, on our way there into Monterrey, we could see the trucks. People take everything with them. Did you see that?
People take what do you mean everything?
People from here take trucks full of stuff to Mexico.
Like how full? Because we do that.
I'm talking.
I don't know if that's
No. Oh, well, I was surprised. I had never. It was like you're moving.
That much stuff?
Yeah, like.
No, but we have our truck. Full.
Okay, so I mean, it was to me, it was a shock. Oh, well, we probably saw you then.
It's the truck.
Yeah, we take everything to to them because they don't really have a lot of stuff. So like bicycles, for them, or just a bunch of stuff that it's easy to find over there. Like we can get out of a thrift store. It's really expensive.
Oh, it's so expensive.
So we get a bunch of things for the kids or our cousins and all that. Full. We have to wrap it up. Everything.
I remember seeing the big thing is what's called those andaderas. I don't know how they say this. Where you sit the baby and it has wheels. And the babies can
I
forgot what they're called.
The baby cart? No.
Something like that.
The carrot? No.
But yeah, I remember seeing some where you put the babies,
The strollers.
No, it wasn't a stroller, but it was one that the babies can learn to walk in. Walkers.
Yeah.
What came of thing? So I remember one was hanging off the side of this one truck, literally just comecate, just holding on the rope. And that's what it was memorable to me. All of stuff and that was hanging stuff. I was like, what?
Yeah, we have a truck full of stuff, full.
Did you get pulled over? Because usually those bring attention. So
Sometimes you do because you got to go through a light, and then sometimes you do, and then just go and then just check it, and then they're like, oh, everything for the family, and I'm like, yeah, and then
Yeah, here's a little bit of extra. Yeah, you have. I'm serious.
Oh yeah.
You have to you have to take a little bit extra because you are going to be.
You're gonna be paying off people.
You have to pay certain tolls.
Take this on. Take this on. But yeah, you take everything. Like you pay him for everything. Like my grandpa, he was really old, like driving.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad asked him like, "Then you get pulled over?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "What'd you do?" Like, I just paid him off like 50 pesos.
Mm.
Oh, that was cheap.
That's nothing. Yeah.
Oh, I remember we had to pay.
It's like what, $2? $2.50.
$2.50. Yeah, I think we had to pay 300 pesos for one incident.
Wow.
That was like nothing though.
You had to pay the American price. Yeah.
Okay. It was always like, Reina, don't say anything. Don't even look at them. Don't even, because that would increase more.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. My friend was so mad. He was like,
Yeah, they charge for it, but it's crazy. It's crazy because I can see why some people like the cartel more than the cops.
Mm.
But and sometimes they're aligned. Like I know my dad. My parents are from. My mom's from a big city, but my dad's from a little town, and like all his family's from a little town. So like there, I mean, the cops will kill you if you call the cops for like on a certain person.
It's really just you gotta deal with your own stuff.
Yeah.
It's so sad. That is sad though. But you know, it is what it is.
But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and the people are so nice.
Oh my goodness.
The people are so nice and so helpful.
So on my dream board, I literally put Mexico on there. That's my mom was so mad at me for that. So there's some beef between Central Americans and Mexicans.
Yeah.
Serious.
Yeah,
I think this is the karma, I guess, that my mom had to pay because my husband was Mexican. But I love Mexico. I really do.
Yeah.
So which part would you move to?
Well, I think that at the time it was a house in Guanajuato, but oh goodness, Monterrey.
Oh,
I would move to Monterrey in a heartbeat.
I had an uncle that was from there.
I mean, just really,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It looks like Colorado, but like the mountains though.
I've never been there. I've just seen a bunch of pictures of like my family. Like,
Must be right now. But yeah, well, I stayed in an Airbnb for a couple days out in Monterrey, and literally like the view from my bedroom, the mountains. No, and it was just. Oh, gosh.
Airbnb. No, I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what I do. So these are just some little things. They usually protect you more if you are a tourist because you're valuable to them. So, also if you do a hotel, make sure you get it through an app and pay ahead through there. That way you don't pay their prices. Does that make sense? So one of the things that I would do, like when I was in Guanajuato, I would Expedia my hotel, and I would pay like $30 a night, or for like a 5-star hotel.
Wow.
Wow.
And I'm talking. Oh gosh, this hotel was so nice.
5 stars.
5 stars, no joke.
Top.
No joke.
Luxury.
Yeah, it just depends on when. It was kind of a weird season, and they can go higher. But I would go downstairs, and the breakfast was amazing. They had chilaquiles. If you know what chilaquiles, it's some
I've never stayed in a Mexican hotel.
Oh,
I just go to to the families that so I never stayed there.
I had to get away. I couldn't. Where I was staying, they had roosters, and they wouldn't let me sleep. And really,
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. They do wake you up.
I was stuck there for like almost a month. I was like, I need to get away from the country. Kid you not. These
Forgot about that. Yeah, I forget. That reminds me of a lot of stuff. I remember that. Like, you just wake up and it's the roosters.
I never thought about the American price though. I would have never thought about that. Just not ever going there or being from there. That's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, you just have to be careful. So then that's what I would do, just because I was able to pay with my card and everything was secured, and Expedia had my back. Something went down. So, but yeah, it was good. And then you kind of tip the people. Like there's the hotel I was staying. There was a cook, a lady that would just make my eggs the way I wanted them. I mean, and then I give her a little tip. So
It's a beautiful country.
It
man.
is.
You gotta go.
Yeah, I got you. I ain't never left the country.
You got your
before.
passport?
Yeah.
Well, then what are you
Yeah.
waiting for?
You never left the country.
I just got it.
You did?
Like a couple weeks ago.
So when you go in there, it depends on. I always the best thing on honestly would be to fly in. It's less troublesome. And plus they already charge you your kind of like your temporary visa. You have to have one
Mm.
when you cross into Mexico. It's un permiso, permission. If another tip, another thing that I did is I don't cross with a lot of money on me with me. What I do is that I wire myself money. You can take all this out because I don't want to know what I do.
I think it died. I think it just died.
Oh, but that's one of the things that you can do, and then I'll have somebody that you trust, like somebody local that you truly trust.
Or over to them.
Yeah. So I mean, I was really lucky that I had a friend there that would protect me.
Yeah,
He was,
that'll
like,
probably be a
6 foot
problem
tall.
for me because I don't know nobody out there.
Let me know ahead of time, and then I'll connect you with him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a lot of. I mean, the majority of my family's over there.
Or his family. I mean, they're gonna take care of you.
Ruben's always telling me they're gonna see the pro.
Yeah, they'll be like, give them the American prices.
No, just tell me you know it's caliente or something.
Yeah, I'm working on my Spanish, so I'm kind of getting there. There's a few words I'm picking up, and I got Duolingo. I've been on that like 8 days now.
Eddie, just take it when you go. And then,
Chihuahua.
Hey, that would be a perfect place for me to start off too.
Chihuahua. Oh yeah, it's right by the border too. It's a border state. It's the biggest state in Mexico.
Yeah, I've heard a few things about them. That's one that Ruben recommended to me.
Chihuahua. Yeah,
He said that would probably be where I fit in the most.
It's because that's where the Europeans settled. That's why we're white. Like white skin.
well, see, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's why we're white
But
skin.
yeah, definitely wire yourself some money because then you'll get. So if you go and get, say, I have $20 and I go and cash them at those, they call them caseteras, those places where you can
Yeah,
cash.
you change the pesos.
Yeah, they lowball you. But if you wire yourself money, you get a lot more. Pesos.
We actually change them there.
You do?
Yeah, they come in the middle.
Yeah, but that's why they lowball you though. Does that make sense?
Because we usually because cash they usually accept it some places. Some places they're like no.
But what I'm saying is, if you wire yourself money over there,
Yeah. Then
when you get it out, you get a lot more for your dollar.
Yeah. Then that's what
That's-
I'm just saying.
And you say like, I mean, believe me, you want every peso because
So what would happen if I use like my credit card? Would that work? Or
you can't. Okay, so here's a tip. Number one, don't just give your credit card to people. You have to literally be there present. Tell them to bring you the machine to your table if you're going to use it. But I wouldn't.
Yeah, we never use credit card over there.
Wouldn't want to use that. We really don't want to. It's you.
Nah, man, they would just look
Yep.
at it, just write it down.
Exactly.
Buy stuff on eBay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's like what I'm saying is definitely have.
Yeah.
And then you can just what I would do. I would do ¿cómo se llama? MoneyGram. I would just do like maybe $20 or $100, not a whole bunch at once. Never a whole lot. You don't want to bring attention to.
But you have to bring on some payoff money.
Yes, that is
Because
true.
they'll pull you over sometimes if you see the Oklahoma place.
Oh.
If you bring because we always bring the truckload full of things, but they pull you over and then you just.
Another thing that they do is that they go in caravans. So that's another my ex-husband's friends. They would all it was all 5 of the siblings or family members. And they would just all go in a caravan, kind of protect each other like that.
Yeah, people will follow you. Like people will follow you. Like people that are scared.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people like they have like bathrooms. Well, I don't know if where you went they have bathrooms, but they have like bathrooms where you stop.
Yes, there were some,
Yeah.
but again, I was with some pretty scary looking people, but they're sweet.
No, like the tourists or like people that are coming from the United States will ask you like, hey, can I like ride along with you? Where are you going? Like, oh, I'm going over here.
Oh,
So
you mean
they
that?
can like caravan.
Yeah.
Like they'll ask you like, hey, kind of like, especially like when my parents went last time, there was like a single mother who asked them. They were like, hey,
I would believe that. The best time to go is around this time because so many people are going, so they can't like pull you all over and destroy you.
Yeah, we'll go on summer. Because we live in it's Chihuahua's a desert.
Oh, why would you go in the summer?
That's where we're going. We like,
That's so pretty.
and we don't have AC,
Ooh,
so
no.
we fans. We like right about the fans.
No.
Like now. I'm telling you, but when it gets cold in the desert, like have you guys ever been in the desert?
Oh my goodness, it is cold.
It is cold in deserts. It's cold. Like we have to have those, the tigre blankets,
Mm-hmm.
the tiger
At
blankets.
least 2 or 3 of those on top of you for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's surprising, isn't it? Because you're like, it's hot here.
But it's freezing.
Dang, I would assume that is it like a sand dune desert? I would assume that all that would insulate and hold the heat and release it at night.
No,
man.
no, it's cold.
Yeah, it's
you have to prepare for both weathers. Like, have your shorts for the t-shirts for summer, and then at night it.
Your whole wintered out.
But the heat is hot. Well, the cold I can live with the cold one on, but at night I can't. Like you have to have like 4 blankets. Like I'm serious. Like
I don't know. It's okay.
I remember my brother trying to sleep with his shirt off.
No.
We had to sleep with jackets. I slept with a jacket. And still had those.
But that's when those hotels come in handy because then they have heat
or
air conditioning.
The real estate idea out there.
The Airbnbs.
That is big. Here, let me show you the one I stayed at.
Yeah, let me see that.
I didn't pay that much to it. Well, I wanted somewhere that was secure and very close to the hospital because I didn't know.
Yeah, because that was the reason why you were there.
I was there. Yeah. Let me show you. Gorgeous 2-story house. Let me see it's still up here. And I know
I want to go back. I want to go back. I'm talking about it.
Let's go, guys. Let's go. I'm sure all of us together we'll be fine. Profile.
College business trip.
Well, we're getting some assistance from the Philippines. Like they're in the Philippines, they're virtual assistants.
Yeah. It's the only Airbnb that is in Monterrey right here. It's called Missy's Place. But, you want to hold it so you can see it? You can scroll. Oh, there we go. That was our dining room, living room.
And how much was it?
How much was it? I don't know. You can go back. How much is it right now? It's $41 a night for a whole house with like I think it has 3 bedrooms. It has 3.
That's beautiful.
That's nice.
My nice kitchen.
Up to date stove.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh girl. That is not the bedroom that I remember. They updated it now. But it was nice. And there were 2, I think it had 1.5 bathrooms, I think.
Stairs.
Look at the view.
What is this?
The view. I was telling you about the mountain view.
Oh, shoot. I don't know what I just did.
Right there. View in there. Yep.
Wow.
It was a gated community. I had to go to 2 different gates and a security guard to get in. So it's very protected.
That's
very, very protected. Look, so that was the view. And I wake up in the morning, the mountains.
So you said that's the only Airbnb?
No, that's the one I chose. That was near the hospital. That was. Yeah, this was the house right there. That's the actual house right there. It had playground for the kids, but I don't have any shopping.
I wonder what their booking looks like as far as like
We'll stay there, guys. It's 3 bedrooms, 4 baths, and 2.5 baths. I must have missed another bathroom. Oh yes, yeah. There were 2 upstairs and 1 downstairs.
Yeah, like the guest bathroom.
They had Wi-Fi. I didn't really use that, but yeah. Anyway, do you guys want to go to Usda today, guys? We can literally go on a bus. Today is close to the border that we could.
How close is it? I know it's north. It's on the north end.
It's pretty close. I mean, I could get to Monterrey.
And like how many?
On the bus?
Or driving?
Driving at 12 hours.
12 hours? No
Yeah, because to Houston is 9 from here, 8 or 9. It's only a couple hours.
Well, yeah, I think Chihuahua's the border. When we do it, I think it's 12.
Turn that into 8. Speedy.
But I mean, I would go in the bus just because I don't want, because I feel like a car with like a Homa tag is just, you're asking to get harassed every single moment.
That's stuff I never thought about that type of stuff.
But I think I have to go, guys. I think I have to suggest.
Yeah, I mean, you can pay more. I mean, we went with expired passports a bunch of times.
Well, thank you for coming. We did
No
a long
problem.
talking.
No, it's fine. You guys,
Yeah.
whatever you need
We
to
love talking to you, Reina.
appreciate it. Well, let's do this another time.
For sure.
Maybe we'll go to today or wherever.
Well, he can do the clips and he can just clip out. I mean, we've got to have your story in there.
Yeah.
That was really
You're-
good. Like, I felt it.
It's,
That dream board,
yeah.
you touched the dream
All
board.
those
that's gonna be great.
topics, we just haven't clipped those out since we did. I think it died on us before we could end it.
Yeah.
no worries. Whatever you need. If you wanna not put this together and just wait to make spots with us, you could do that as well. Because he has a lot more knowledge of very specific.
We'll just edit out clips.
Yeah.
Whatever works for you.
So yeah.
And then that's why it was very emotional for us when my mom wanted us to have a bigger house.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, the story, remember?
and that's why I think it hit us because it was so hard
Because the
get.
whole journey.
to our home.
Mm.
But anyway, thank you so much for having
Yeah, thank you
me.
so much.
Mhm.